on the Bobby Bones Show now.
Clay Walker.
What's up, Clay?
Hey, brother. So good to be here.
It's good. I'm glad to have you here. You know, I know we had talked about once it kind of opened up with COVID a little bit. You come up, and I guess it has because you're here. Nobody touched you when you walked in, though, right?
No one touched me,
Yeah.
and I brought my mask. It's camo. You know, I got the camo right here.
Well, I saw a body walk in without a face, and I was like,
Where is it?
get an Amy camo.
No,
Camouflage.
Yep,
Thank you.
I'm quick. I'm with you.
Clay Walker's here, which before we kind of talk about some of the stuff from back in the day, I'm curious about you being on Toby Keith's label because I saw that you're now signed to Show Dog Records, right?
That's right.
So how did that come about?
Well, Toby and I started out about the same time. I think he came out just a little bit before I did, but we did shows together early on in our careers and always liked each other, you know. And TK, Kimbrell, his manager, is one of the great managers of our industry, and it just all gelled. You know, we did a few shows with Toby, and TK and I talked, and Toby and I talked. Said, hey, why don't we put out a record? And so I started writing with all the really great new writers in town, and some of the guys have been here a while too, and came up with some songs that we all felt, you know, were viable and could compete, and so recorded those, and it just worked out great.
By the way, here's a clip of Clay's new song, and we're going to have a play it in a little bit. If we go back to 1993, your first number one, What's It to You? Like, why was that put out as the first single? Like, what were you thinking?
Well, it was going to be Dreaming with My Eyes Open, and we did back then what's called radio showcases, you know, where different radio stations from around the country would come into one single place like Dallas, or, you know, and they listened to all the songs in the new record, played them all, and when we would do What's It to You, we were seeing, you know, the industry people, the gatekeepers stand up and cheer. And we were like, hey, maybe it should be What's It to You? And, of course, the rest is history.
You're telling me that you would play that song from a tape or a CD and people would stand up and cheer? We've lost all emotion these days.
No.
Now we listen and go,
No, I play it live.
oh, you do? Oh, I was going to say, you got a standing ovation from a CD or a tape? That's crazy.
That's amazing.
No,
I would have put it out as a single, too.
not everybody can be Bobby Bones.
Honey, you'll never believe this. I play What's It to You on tape. The whole room stood up. All right, well.
But are there, that's, to me, there was some notes that were different than how I remember hearing it. But do you change it up because, you know, just give it a little something different since you're
No,
it so
you
long?
just pointed out the obvious, you know, that my toenails did not match my fingernail polish, because I actually never play that song. I just sing it. You know, I held a microphone, so I just noticed I played a couple of wrong chords in there. I'm like, nobody will notice. Nobody will notice.
Dang, Amy.
Oh,
Amy, please.
I thought
Now I'm
it
really
was-
bright red.
Oh no, I thought it was an artistic
Dang.
thing where you change it up. Because for me, I was singing along and not out loud, but I was doing.
Let
one
us try
note.
it one more time. You want to do it one more time so we can do it?
I love it. I need to do it again.
It
Don't
was
listen
good.
to her.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it's different.
You said his
The good news is
artistic
we have a
liberty.
whole show to make up for it.
All right, Clay Walker's here. Let's go. I'm interested in If I Can Make a Living because Alan Jackson wrote that song, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you get an Alan Jackson song, and why didn't Alan Jackson record it? Because it's such a jam.
Well, here's the thing too, and we get as songwriters, you never really know, you know, if every song you write is going to be a hit. You know, they're not all hits, but you demo them. In other words, you write a song and then you have something to record it with, and you have it there so you can remember it. And he wrote this song with a couple of other writers. One of them being Keith Stegall, who was his producer at the time, still is. And so whatever Alan decided, hey, these are my best songs, I'm not going to put these other ones on my CD or on my album, those get pitched out to other artists. And so I heard the song, and it's Alan's voice on it, and my producer at the time, James Stroud, played it for me, and he goes, I don't know, I said, James, that's a smash. That's a mega smash, you know, and I'm a writer, and I write a lot of my own songs. And that song resonated with me, and I said, not only is it a smash, I want it as a first single and the album title. And so Alan Jackson played in my hometown of Beaumont on a show, and he actually knows I'm from there, I guess. And he played "If I Can Make a Living." The place went crazy. I had friends that were at the concert. They said, "You're not gonna believe this. How can he do that?" I go, "Well, he wrote it. He can do it."
I bet too if
it
you
was
get
a compliment,
song,
actually.
because it happened a bit with Stapleton for a bunch of years here. Not so much now, but he was known as a songwriter in town. But his voice would be on the track on the demo, and it makes it sound even better when Stapleton's singing it. I wonder if when Alan Jackson was singing the demo, if the little bit that it was Alan Jackson singing it, you're like, "Dang, this is cool."
No, I was like, I certainly can't sing it better than him. But hopefully no one ever hears Alan sing it. It's that's what I went with. And if Amy would have heard him, she probably would have said it was better.
Yeah, she's.
I didn't. That's.
All right,
That's a joke,
say
Amy.
that.
Amy,
I know.
he's gonna do this one. Hey, listen.
I know. I was gonna
Whatever happens,
just say nothing.
we're just having a good time.
We are having a good time. I really enjoyed it.
You have 6 kids, huh? Is that true?
Yeah.
You had to think about that.
Well, I was thinking there's one on the way too.
Yeah, but you're about to have 7 in January,
Yeah.
right? But you have 6 kids.
Yeah.
How? What kind of minivan was that?
Well, when I look out in my pasture, some of the male horses are geldings, and and you look out in the cow pasture, and you just have one bull. I'm a breeder. It's just that simple.
Holy crap, man! So you have your 7th kid coming. How do you feel about a new baby?
I feel great about it. They kids are the greatest thing on earth. And being a mom too. I've been able to watch my wife Jessica be like the greatest mom. It's the most unselfish. I think women have the toughest jobs, and they do it with grace. Especially people like her. I'm blown away. She gives life, she defends life, and she makes these great babies. Our kids are, pretty much perfect citizens.
Eddie, how you feel about
That's
that? Your kids
awesome.
perfect citizens?
No, they're not. They're quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we send ours to live with you?
All right, Clay Walker is here. Let's do one more before we take a break. Let's go 1994. This Woman and This Man. It's kind of our first ballady song that we're gonna do here.
Yeah.
Like Clay Walker getting a little lovey-dovey. How you feel about putting out a song like this?
Exactly the way you just described it. These big ballads have always been where my heart is. I love country music, period. But man, you get to sing a song like this one.
Where does that go on the set list?
It goes near the end. But the last few shows that we did, which has been a minute, we've ended the night with that song.
Man,
and my agent, Nick Minimus, said, "Man, I think that would just blow people's mind if you just do this one last." I'm like, we always end on an up-tempo. No. We started ending with that song right there, and it was like...
Everybody's walking out crying. I love you, baby. All right, well, we're going to take a break. Clay Walker's here. 2 things we're going to do when we come back. I'm probably going to request Hypnotize the Moon, just as a heads up. I'm going to have you play your new song, too, because it's really good. Not that I'm surprised, but a little bit I'm surprised. I'm surprised when anybody brings good stuff in, because it's so hard to make good music now, because you feel like everything's already been done. But it's really cool. The new song's really cool, too.
What's like you having to come in, and beat the last show that you did, that you feel like was great. You gotta plan for it, right? And see if you can do it.
Well, we'll let the audience see if
Nothing's
they stand
going to
up.
beat this one, Bobby.
Well,
this is going to
when
be
you
your
play the
best
new
show.
one, we'll see if the listeners stand up in their cars and applaud it. I've been watching Yellowstone a little bit. I guess I'm caught up on Yellowstone.
Yeah, you're done.
Have you watched it at all?
All except this season.
Okay.
I'm excited. I binge watch it. I like watch it like
Me too.
Yeah.
So I just finished season 3. You're about to get into it, and so there were horses around a little bit, but you ride horses, and I wonder, as someone who writes songs but also rides horses, if you're out on a horse and you get a song idea and you have nothing in your pocket to save the idea, well, how do you remember a song idea when you're out riding a horse?
Where in the hell would you even think of something like that? I mean, that's crazy.
But come on, you
When-
get
when I'm
inspired
ri-
all the time.
Yeah,
When you're out in the field.
when I'm riding horses, though, when you got 12 or 1,300 pounds, that you're riding on top of. I mean, you're kind of thinking about keeping it all together. So the song idea, I guess, if you came up with the song, you just have to hum it. To me, if you can remember a song idea, then it's worthy of writing. But if you forget it, somebody else would forget it that easy as well.
Dang, I've forgotten all my good ideas. I had a bunch of great ones. I forgot them all.
bad.
Yeah. Tell me if this is true. You used to work at Super 8 Motel, and you're doing music, but you decided to, after your shift, go to a local radio station and drop off a tape. That happened?
That's true, yes.
Okay, so what was on that tape?
A song that I written, and the DJ. You want the whole story? Or just what was on?
No, give me the story.
So I was working the graveyard shift, and it was slow, and so the radio station was probably 3 miles from the Super 8. And so I got in the car and drove down there, and I knocked on the door, and nobody answered. So I went around the other side of the building. I knocked on the window, and then I guess I climbed up on the side of the wall, and there was like a little bitty tiny window. It was KD97, KAYD, and I started banging on this one window, and that was the actual where the guy was, DJing. His name was Gary Hayes, and I guess he finally heard me, and he came around to the door, and it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. He does the door open real fast, he goes, "What?" And I'm like terrified, this big old guy, big guy, and he goes, "What do you want?" And I'm standing there with this little reel-to-reel. Back then, you made this, and it was on 16 inches per second kind of thing. Only a true radio guy would know what I'm talking about. And he says, "What is this?" I said, "It's my song." And he goes, "Oh my gosh." He goes, "Come on in." So I went in, and he takes me over to the studio, and he cues it up, and he plays it, and he records it to this thing that looks like an 8-track called Cart. And this is the way the radio stations used to be run, And so he records it, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "it's really nice." He goes, "I'm surprised." He said, I can't play it. He said, "We are a reporting station," and I didn't even know what that meant. He said, "I can't play it." He said, "But it is good." And he handed me my reel back, and I went out. I was driving down the road, and he comes back on the air, and he goes, "Man, ladies and gentlemen," he goes, "I might get fired over this." He said, "But, there's the Buddy Holly story and blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Here's a local kid, Clay Walker, who wrote this song, and he plays it, and it's on the radio." And I mean, I'm poor. I'm just shaking. I mean, I'm literally just shake. I can't even believe it, because what the airwaves do to people in general, just the listeners. I've always been a radio fan, like everybody else. And to hear my own self on there freaked me out. And I said, "Man, that's all I want for the rest of my life." And so I'm on here, and congrats to you. I know people suck up to you all the time because you're a big shot and all that, but I got to tell you, man, it's hard to make it in the music business. It's even harder to make it in the radio business. You have knocked it out of the park.
Well, that's very kind. Well, that's crazy and you still remember his name. Good for you for.
And look what you're about to do for me. I'm about to be famous.
I'm about to break a new artist, Clay Walker, everybody. First time you heard of him, I got him right here, everybody. Whatever.
Well, I have a question about, what was his name? Gary?
Gary Hayes.
Okay, Gary Hayes. So once you did make it and you were all over the radio, did you ever talk to him again, or was he ever like, "Oh my gosh, this kid made it"?
He died.
Oh.
Amy walks us into the best.
Oh boy.
I'm leaving.
Oh boy.
But when? I mean,
Amy's over 2 on the Clay Walker interview. Let's be honest here. Clay's getting up and walking out of the room.
I thought Amy loved me.
Yeah, Clay's
I
leaving.
do. I do.
Attacking here.
Clay's leaving.
Is there any kind of harassment charges
Yes.
I can file?
Okay. Well, all right.
You made me have to get a drink of water. I always wished that I would have been able to go back and sit down with him and talk to him. I think about him a lot. I mean, that was a really cool moment for me, obviously.
Well, Clay Walker is here. Thanks, Amy. She puts her head in her hand.
Stop.
Boy.
She's derailed this interview twice.
You're not going to edit that out, are you?
No, of course not.
No.
Why would he do that?
No. All right, let's do
I mean,
Hypnotize the Moon. Another one, if I'm putting it into my top 2 or 3, this is one for me that I just love. I don't know if it's because it reminds me of where I was as a teenager, or if it's because I just love Clay Walker ballads.
No, and I love the ballads too. I think people know when you like something a lot. I love the ballads. You can't play 15 slow songs in a show though. Unless you're Barry Manilow. So you gotta have the up tempo stuff too. But I really love the ballads. So this song was written by Steve Dorff, and I remember getting this song thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is such a great song." And I didn't write it. I wished I would have. But
What's crazy about your career that you don't see with a lot of artists is that your first hit's in '93. You had "She Won't Be Long" in 2009. Like that's quite the run there. I mean, to be able to have a number 1 in 1993 and then put out this jam in 2009, like, good for you. I mean, how'd you do that? Whenever this song hits, Had you been up, or was that kind of a re-grab?
I think in this town, you're always re-grabbing. You know, there's all kind of opposition, you know, and there's support too. You know, I think you got to have the song. The big songs are going to make it, and they find their way somehow to the top. And I think that's fair. You know, when I say opposition, there's age, there's a new artist, there's all kind of competition out there. So you got to have something great. But I look at George Strait and I'm like, you know what does he have, like 60 number one, something crazy, you know, and still sings great, looks great, still does great shows, and so I think we all need something to look to, you know. And I think some of the younger artists that are out right now look to me in some ways, you know, and I think if I have another hit, I think it inspires them to know that they could do it too. But to your point, that song right there was gonna make it, and it didn't have a lot of support coming out of the gate. And that's how I know it's a great song. It just radio said, hey, this is a song for us. When I say support, we didn't have a lot of money to support it and spend money to promote it and things like that. And this song made it because on its own merit, and radio folks like you really loved it.
So here's the question I have for you. When we talked about this earlier, you have this new song out called Need a Bar Sometimes. So the production on it, amazing. Like, your producer did a great job with this song. It's also, so I'm asking you, would you rather me play the full song, like people can hear it, or would you rather play it in here live? Because I'll do either one.
I'd rather you play the full song.
Let's spin
because
the real one
I'm
then.
scared of the scrutiny.
Hey,
you know?
you have a hard critic in here.
Not for me.
And thanks for saying that about the production. Jaron Boyer was one of the co-writers on the song, who did awesome. And he co-produced it with Michael Knox, who's knocking it out of the park with Jason Aldean. So we got the sounds right, and it matters. You know, I feel like this is a blend. This is a great blend of stuff that I've done in the past, moving forward, and the song's fun too. You know, I mean, I've been drinking at home alone, you know, and I miss my buddies. I miss being able to go out to a bar safely, you know, and go over to Losers and have a beer, you know, with you.
Yeah, because you know me. I'm a big old beer drinker.
Oh, yeah.
All right, listen, Clay. I'm gonna play this song. Let me say, I'm a big fan. We're all big fans in this room, so it's always a thrill when people that we really treasure as artists. And your songs remind me of a different place in my life. Like, honestly, as you play all those songs, I know where I was at that stage of my life, and I hope that's a huge compliment to you.
Oh,
because
major
compliment. It's like dug into who I am. Listening to Kiss in '96, hearing Clay Walker, you know, from all '93 to 96, 2009. I was a little older. But I love that song because it was like you coming back.
What was your favorite one to sing?
This Woman, This Man. Still is. Yeah. And there was this woman, and there was this man. That one.
Oh, I like the little cry
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I do.
Right,
Yeah, I crack it. It's this little artistic thing I take. Amy doesn't like it. She hates me for the artistic part of it. But yeah.
You know, there's a growl in that song that I didn't get to do because we only got a verse and a chorus of it. You know, but
A growl.
yeah, it's kind of like a little growly thing.
All right, listen. We're gonna play it now. Follow Clay on Instagram, official Clay Walker, on Twitter @ClayWalker.
Unfollow Amy and
Unfollow Amy.
That's a joke. I'm Amy.
I can't look at you anymore.
It's never gonna be the same. It'll only be better.
This is my first time meeting you. This is how it is now.
This is great. No, this is wonderful.
Need a Bar Sometimes from Clay Walker. What's up? You putting more out soon? You got some more stuff?
Oh
coming?
yeah, we're coming behind
Okay.
that. Loaded for Bear. There's some greats. There's another one called Catching Up with an Old Memory. Whew. That one right there. You're gonna have something to say about it. The bar song, great for now. I'm ready for it. Let's have a smash on that one, and then come behind it with another big smash, and maybe I get a second bite at the apple, doing a show here, and maybe I'll play "What's It to You" perfect for Amy, and
Nice. That's what we'll
we'll
do next
feel
time.
like
He'll
it's
nail What's It to You.
kumbaya.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, here we go. Need a Bar Sometimes from Clay Walker. There he is, Clay Walker. Good to see you, Clay. Thanks for coming in, man.